Okay, so yeah. Welcome to our session for today. Ayan. Wait lang. Okay, so yeah. Welcome to our session 10 and ayun nga, yung session 8 natin ay I think uploaded na siya sa ating group which is yung Team Brian exclusives. Tapos session 7 and 8 7 and 9 will be uploaded siguro tomorrow. Kasama rin ito kapag natapos na kapag na-load ko na to. Masyadong matagal kasi sa rendering. Ayun yung as in umaabot ng ilang oras din sa pagre-render. So ayun, uh, for this session we will also have an integration of all of the concepts na pinresent natin for the past yung sa unang limang uh, sessions. Ayan. So for session 10, mayroon ditong iba-iba from crop science, crop protection, animal science, fisheries, and even soil science. Ayan. So, let's start para, ayan, maaga rin tayo matapos. Joke. Tinignan ko kasi parang mas maganda yata yung 4 to 8 para 8, ayun, pwedeng ayun na yung dinner para hindi na tayo mag long break sa gitna. Anyway, so yan, let's start with number 1. Okay? So number 1, among the rats in a field, the male to female ratio per liter is blank. So here, it's again a value. I hope na meron kayong mga like isang paper siguro na pinagsusulatan nyo ng mga different values. Ayan, kasi 'di ba in fisheries meron tayong mga different values. Ilan yung marketable size ng bangus, ah ilang araw in animal science naman, ilang araw ang pregnancy period ng baka, yung mga ganun na bagay. So I hope na meron kayong mga reviewer na merong mga ganong values. Ayan. So for this one, among the rats in the field, the male to female ratio per liter is A 1:1, B 1:2, C 2:1, or letter D 1:4. So ito, ang answer for this one is 1:1. Ayan. So again, take note of this value kasi this could help you in getting at a point dun sa ating licensure exam. So yan, ito ay nasa field ng crop protection. So if you're wondering, bakit meron ng rats, di ba? In crop protection, ayan, we have a lot of different pests. So if you remember sa ating discussion on session 2, I discussed 3 different fields in crop protection, which is number 1, weed science, 2, plant pathology, and number 3, entomology. So in the field of weed science, from the term itself, it deals with the study of weeds. Ayan. So in our sa further na sessions natin, I will also discuss more on weed science, on the basic of weed science. Ayan, para at least you have knowledge sa lahat ng aspeto ng agricultural management, 'di ba? Kapag nasa field na. So sa weed science, it deals with different types of weeds. Meron tayong mga weeds na grasses. Under weed science, merong mga classification na grasses, meron ding tinatawag na sedges, and meron ding tinatawag na broadleaves. Ayan. So those are three of the classifications of weeds according to their uh, yung sa leaf nila, ganyan. So we will discuss more on that sa ating detailed discussion on each field. So next, sa plant pathology naman, we have discussed or I have given a lot of diseases dito sa mga items natin, sa mga sessions natin. Ayun yung mga cause ng bacteria, ng fungi, virus, yung mga yan. So, those are some of the well-known causative agents. Meron din diyang, anong tawag dito? Wait lang. Meron din diyang viroids, nematodes, yung mga yon. So, and in entomology naman, it deals with insects. Ayan. Sa insects naman to, kung ano-ano yung mga different types of insects that infests your crops. So, kasama rin diyan ang isa rin sa mga pinag-aaralan in crop protection ay ang tinatawag nating mga vertebrate pest. So as a review, ano ang tinatawag na vertebrate? So these are organisms, these are animals na merong backbone. At isa sa mga example ng isang vertebrate pest ay rats. And isa pa na pwede natin i-consider as vertebrate pest is tayong humans. Because even humans can also be a pest kapag nakaka-harm sila sa ating crop ecosystem. Ayun. So again, these are the three major branches of crop protection. So we have weed science, we have plant pathology, and of course, entomology. Ayan. So, tas yung rat is an example of a vertebrate pest. So you can add this sa inyong sheet siguro ng paper na nagti-take note kayo doon ng mga different values. So yun. Siguro makakatulong din kapag kunwari, ayun nga, yung gagawa kayo ng parang sheet ng mga different values. Tapos, i-divide nyo siya ang tawag dito, according to their field. So, kung saan dito yung sa crop science, alin dito yung sa animal science, tapos, alin yung sa crop protection, alin yung sa fisheries, alin yung sa soil science, yung mga ganun na bagay. So, that's one thing na pwede niyong gawin. Okay, next. So here, the three main body regions of an insect are A, head, body, and toes, B, head, thorax, and abdomen, C, head, cerci, and thorax, or letter D, head, wings, and feet. So for this one, the answer is letter B, which is head, thorax, and abdomen. So take note of that three main body regions of an insect. So head, body, and toes are for humans. We will discuss more sa cerci. And yung sa letter D, first, wala na mga like feet talaga, yung mga insects. So you can cross that out. Ayan. So kapag ganito, it will help. Kapag kunwari maraming choices na ganito, it is good that you use the elimination method. So if there is a choice na tingin nyo ay hindi sagot yung isa doon, so for example, in this case, feel ko wala yung feet, feel ko wala yung toes. So doon pa lang, na-eliminate nyo na yung dalawang choices. So dalawa na lang yung pagpipilian nyo. Ayan. So next, number 3, in insects, this chemical is responsible for the reduced uptake of insecticide solution by the insect integument. So in insect, this chemical is responsible for the reduced uptake of insecticide solution by the insect integument. So A, tannins, B, wax, C, malathion, or letter D, saponins. So in this question, ang ating keyword is reduced uptake. So alin sa mga yan ang nakakapag-reduce ng uptake ng water or ng solution? So the answer is letter B, which is wax. So ano ba yung mga alam natin na merong wax? First, kandila siguro. Ayan, yung candle. It's made out of wax. Tas kung if you will notice, yung candles natin ay meron siyang hydrophobic property. Hydrophobic property. Kapag sinabing hydrophobic, in the term itself, takot sa water. So hindi sila nakaka hindi nagpe-penetrate yung water sa mga ganitong klaseng chemicals. Ayan. So, in this case, yung wax, it reduces uptake of insecticide solution. Solution is a mixture, di ba, na meron ding, of course, yung ating water. So, dun pa lang, ayun na yung pwede nating kuning clue dito sa question na to. Reduced uptake, so alin dito ang nakakapigil ng pag-absorb ng water. Yung malathion is an insecticide mismo. So, dahil insecticide na siya, hindi siya, it can absolutely go sa insects. Kasi nga, pang-prevent to. Tannins and saponins are both phytochemical properties. They are both uh, phytochemicals. Ayan na. They are both phytochemicals na nasa halaman. So itong dalawang to ay nasa loob ng halaman. Ito ay insecticide at yung wax ay yung nagre-reduce ng uptake ng insecticide. Okay? So next, this is the term used to describe the horizontal layers of soil differentiation. Horizontal layers. So A, horizons, B, structure, C, pedon, or letter D, hard pads. So for this question, meron na agad tayong clue, which is horizontal. Ayan. So the the specific term for that is horizons. Ayan. Horizontal layers of soil differentiation. For example, ito, ayan. Kunwari, ito yung layer ng soil. Tapos, we are calling this each layer horizon. So this is one horizon, then this is another horizon, and so on and so forth. Ayan. So for this one, perhaps I can also discuss sa mga next sessions natin kung ano yung mga specific horizons kasi merong mga tawag sa mga yan. May O, A, yan. So we can discuss more of that siguro in detail. Okay? So next. So here, number 5, scientific name. What is the scientific name of mallard duck? So A, Anas platyrhynchus, B, Cotornix cotornix, C, Cairina moscata, or letter D, Meleagris gallopavo. So for this one, I think that we have discussed this kagabi rin with the same uh, choices. So yes, correct. The answer is letter A, which is Anas platyrhynchus. So Anas platyrhynchus is the scientific name for mallard duck. Cotornix cotornix is for pigeon. Cairina moscata is for Muscovy duck. And of course, Meleagris gallopavo is for turkey. So if you will notice, I am repeating a lot of concepts that we have discussed, especially nung sa animal science, para mas ma-retain natin. Ayan. So, iniiba ko lang yung nasa question para makita ko if you are really reviewing yung mga, or you are really gaining knowledge along our sessions. So, this is already session 10. So, I really hope na maging sulit yung inyong uh, pag-avail ng ano, 'di ba, ng review natin. Ayan. So, again, Anas platyrhynchus is mallard duck, Cotornix cotornix pigeon, Cairina moscata is Muscovy duck, and Meleagris gallopavo is turkey. Okay. Number 6. Which plant have male and female reproductive organs in the same plant? So which plant have male and female reproductive organs in the same plant? So A, deciduous, B, monoecious, C, evergreen, or letter D, dioecious. So again, na-i-discuss na rin natin to kagabi. So the answer for this one is, yeah, so the answer for this one is letter B, which is monoecious. Again, let's have a review. When we say deciduous, these are plants na nagkakaroon ng fall, na 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 nahuhulog yung mga leaves niya. Ayan. So leaves do not stay for the whole year. Ayan. So hindi sila green. Ang kabaliktaran ng deciduous or ang kasama niya sa classification ay evergreen. Which is, ito naman is do not fall. So ang leaves niya is, it is, ang parang gamitin natin ditong clue is evergreen is forever green. So all throughout the year, green yung punong iyon. Okay? So monoecious plants, these are the plants that have both the male and female plant, both the male and female reproductive organs in the same plant. So a lot of our plants are monoecious. Ang isa sa mga pinaka alam siguro nating example, yung laging nasa mga textbooks starting ng elementary ay gumamela, 'di ba? So when you are seeing both of the male and female reproductive organs ng isang flower, ang tawag doon ay monoecious na nasa isang plant lang. Ang tawag sa male, again, ayan, anther. 'Di ba? Tapos sa female, we have stigma. Ayan yung mga ilan sa mga male and female reproductive organs natin. Okay? Stigma, pistil, ayan yung mga ayan. Ovary, anther, stamen, pollen grains. Ayan. So, ayan yung sa male. Ito yung sa female. And of course, yung dioecious, kapag sinabing dioecious, magkahiwalay. So meron tayong tinatawag, kapag dioecious, merong male flower, meron ding female flower. Yan. Ayan ang meron sa dioecious. So an example of dioecious plants ay cucumber and pwede rin yung papaya. Magkahiwalay ang kanyang male at saka female flower. Okay, so deciduous, monoecious, evergreen, and dioecious. Okay? So before we go on, I will give you a 5-minute break to digest yung mga information that was given in the first 6 items. So it's 4:25, so let's have a 5-minute break. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, so number 7. This is used to conduct. This is used to conduct the first step of land preparation. This is used to conduct the first step of land preparation. So in this question, we have the following choices: weeder, planting equipment, plow, or letter D, bolo. So first and foremost, this is tricky kasi una, kailangan mo munang alamin ano nga ba yung first step of land preparation. And if you're not still familiar with it, the first step of land preparation is called tilling. Ayan. So kapag sinabi nating tilling, ay ipopulverize natin yung soil. Gagawin nating pino yung soil. So from large clumps of soil, ayan, ipopulverize natin siya. Ba't kaya yung pulverize? Basta ipopulverize natin yung yung soil doon sa isang farm. So what you can use in tilling, ayan, ay ang plow. Ayan. So plow is one of the implements that we use in order for us to conduct tilling. So again, the first step of land preparation is tilling, and what we can use to what we can use for tilling is yung plow. Okay? So weeder, from the term itself, is used for weeds. Planting equipment is used for planting. And bolo is used for, most of the time, mas ginagamit ang bolo sa mga trees. If you are managing an orchard, ayan, o kaya yung sariling garden sa bahay, ganun. Bolo ang karaniwang ginagamit. So example of these are rose, sunflowers, and chrysanthemum, and those flowers placed in stages for decoration. So A, cut foliage; B, foliage plant; C, cut flowers; or letter D, flowering pot plants. So we've also tackled this in the last session. The answer for this one is letter C, which is cut flowers. Again, yung cut foliage, ito yung mga dahon. From the term foliage, kapag sinabing foliage, ang meaning niyan ay dahon. Ayan. So kapag sinabing cut foliage, ito yung mga inilalagay as background sa mga cut flowers. So, ang mga karaniwang design dyan, for example, ano ba? Kung kunwari yan. Tapos, may flower. Ayan, kunwari may flower. Gawin natin orange. Ayan. Merong flower. Yung cut foliage, ayun yung inilalagay sa likod ng mga ganyan-ganyan. So, you call that in the agriculture world na cut foliage. So, ito ang cut foliage. Ngayon, ito naman ang tinatawag na cut flowers. So ano ang distinction ng mga cut foliage at cut flowers? Kapag cut foliage at flowers, they survive na wala sa kanilang mother plant. So that is their distinction with foliage plants at flowering pot plants. So kapag sinabing foliage plants at flowering pot plants, nasa container pa yan, tapos connected sila sa, for example, ito. Yan. So this is called a flowering plant. Kapag flowering foliage naman, ayan, kunwari yan, tapos mga ganyan-ganyan. So this is called a flowering, a foliage plant. Ayan. So that is their distinction. So ang difference lang nila is itong isa, ang cut foliage, uh, at saka flowering, at saka cut flowers, they are not intact or hindi sila nakadikit sa kanilang mother plant. Yan. So that is their distinction. Okay? I hope that is clear. Good thing din pala sa question na to na naglagay ng different examples. So using those examples, you can also assess your knowledge. So ano nga ba yung rose? Anong common sa rose, sunflower, at saka chrysanthemum? Bukod sa they are all flowering. Tapos, so dahil alam nating flowering sila, possibly na ang choices mo na lang for your answer is C or D kasi parehas na may flower, di ba? So ngayon, sabi dito, flowers placed in stages for decorations. So you can say na dahil nasa stage sila, they are not in their natural habitat. They are not in their pots, kumbaga. So that is one of the techniques kung paano answer ng question na ito. Okay? Next, number 9. Which of the following is a Philippine native pig which is a crossbreed made in Rizal, Philippines? Okay, so A, is it Yorkshire? B, is it Berkhala? C, is it La Mancha? Or letter D, is it Durok? So for this one, the answer is letter B, which is, this is supposed to be letter B. The correct answer for this one is letter B, which is Berkhala. Hindi siya La Mancha. Okay, so ang Berkhala is a crossbreed made in Rizal. If you're familiar with a municipality in Rizal, meron diyang Hala-Hala na isang municipality. So, yung Berkshire is a crossbred with a native na Hala-Hala na native breed sa Hala-Hala, Rizal. So, kaya siya Berkhala. Yeah. So, Yorkshire, La Mancha, and Duroc are all, ang Yorkshire tsaka Duroc ay breed din ng baboy at ang La Mancha ay goat. Ayan. Next. Okay. Let's have, this is a classification of crops that develop after meiosis and fertilization. So this was actually sent in our group chat hours back. So asexual, B, ovulated crops, C, annuals, or letter D, perennials. So as most of you answered dun sa ating group chat, the answer is sexual. Sexual crops. So ito ay isang classification ng crops according to their mode of reproduction. So ang sexual tsaka asexual plants is a classification of crops according to their mode of reproduction. According to their mode of reproduction. So ang ovulated crops is not a real like classification. That could be a confusion. Siguro kasi ovulated. So it means it has something to do with meiosis, with fertilization kasi merong term na ovulated. So that is just a confusion. Yung annuals tsaka perennials, I think we have already discussed this, but we will go further with those concepts. So, ang mga annuals, na-discuss ko ito kagabi in detail. So, kapag sinabing annuals, you can harvest more than, these are plants na pwedeng mag-harvest more than once a year. So, example na annuals ay rice, ayan, mung bean. So, those are specific crops that you can harvest more than once a year. In contrast, we have perennials, and these are plants that live year to year. Common examples of perennials are trees. Ayan. So yung mga puno natin, so they live from year to year. So they do not, we cannot like harvest sa kanila na every more than once a year. Parang. Okay? Number 11. Which of the following is a landscape plant? Landscape plant, A, okra, B, song of India, C, fern, or letter D, orchids. landscape plant? So the answer for this one is letter B, which is Song of India. So yung okra obviously is not a landscape plant. So kapag sinabing landscape plant, these are the plants na ginagamit in landscaping. So ito yung mga karaniwang na nakikita sa mga gardens o kaya yung sa mga plaza. If you have one sa inyong municipality, so yun, merong mga ginagamit na mga plants na yan. Ang fern and orchids, they are not landscape plants because kapag sinabing landscape plants, ilalagay mo to sa baba. 'Di ba? Ito yung mga karaniwang ginagawang bilog, yung mga ganon, o kaya triangle, yung epiniform. Ayan, yung mga ginagawang ganyan, o kaya yung mga tinitrim na parang kahit anong shape, ganon. So those are landscape plants. So ang Song of India is para siyang shrub na I will provide pictures dito kapag and then I will just provide pictures of this. And we will dive deeper dito after this session. Session 11 onwards. Ayan. We will look into this classifications. Okay? So number 12, this is a crop that is plowed under while it is still green and growing to improve the soil quality. A, green manure, B, cover crop, C, companion crop, or letter D, trap crop. So for this one, the answer is letter A, which is green manure. So first, meron na tayong clue. If you will look at the question, nandiyan, still green. So, ang green manure is inilalagay sa or hinahalo na sa lupa while it is still green. So, examples of green manures are leguminous crops. Most of the green manure na ginagamit in different farms are leguminous crops. When we say leguminous crops, these are commonly beans. We also have peanut. And also, we have, if you are familiar with sesbanya, ayan, kakawate. Yeah. So these are examples of green manure. These are examples of leguminous crops. So ang reason why they are used for green manuring is because they are able to add nitrogen sa soil. Ayan. Kasi nga, merong nitrogen-fixing bacteria in leguminous crops. Yeah. So they are called green manure. Number 13. So this is in the field of animal nutrition. So which of the following is not a fat-soluble vitamin for animals? A, vitamin A, B, vitamin K, C, vitamin B, or letter D, vitamin E. So the answer for this one is letter C, which is vitamin B. So I will introduce a mnemonic para mas madaling matandaan yung mga fat-soluble vitamins. So yan. ADEC. ADEC. Yan. ADEC. Ayan lang yung vitamins that are fat-soluble. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. So these are fat-soluble vitamins. Okay? Next. Number 14. Again, it is equal to the genotype plus the environment plus the interaction between the genotype and the environment. So A, phenotype, B, genotype, C, genome, or letter D, puberty. So the answer for this one is letter A, which is phenotype. So we have repeatedly discussed this concept across sessions. So I hope that you are able to answer this one correctly. So this is just a recall of the concepts that we have. And I hope na na-answer niyo yung phenotype. Okay? Let's go to number 15, which is not a main use of horses. Which is not a main use of horses. So, A, traction, B, transportation, C, milk, or letter D, amusement. Again, traction, transportation, milk, or amusement. The answer for this one is letter C, which is milk. So, horses are not used for milk production. They are used for traction, they are used for transportation, and of course, sa amusement. Amusement, yung parang ginagawa sa Baguio, di ba? Kapag nandun ka, yung mga kabayo, may mga nagpapapicture, ganyan. So that is also one use that we need to consider for horses. Again, next, number 16. Number 16, we have which of the following organisms are used for all meat, eggs, and amusement? So lahat daw, meat, eggs, and amusement. A. Meleagris gallopavo. B. Anser domesticus. C. Gallus gallus, or letter D. Columbia livia. If you will uh, remember all of the common names of these different scientific names. So Meleagris gallopavo ay turkey. Anser dominicus ay goose. Gallus gallus ay chicken. And Columbia livia ay quail. So, alin dyan ang ginagamit sa lahat? The answer is letter C, which is chicken. So, chicken are used for all of these things, meat, eggs, and amusement. Amusement, it also encompasses yung paggamit ng chicken sa mga sabong, o kaya yung mga dinedesign na ng mga chickens, ganyan. Yung mga may iba't ibang kulay ng feathers. Yeah, so that is also counted for amusement. Okay? So which of the following are used for their wool? Wool naman. So A, Ovis aris. B, Sus scrofa. C, Capra hircus. Or letter D, Oryctolagus cuniculus. So the answer for this one is letter A, which is Ovis aris. So Ovis aris is the scientific name for sheep. Sus scrofa is the scientific name for pig. Capra hircus is for goat. And Oryctolagus cuniculus is for rabbit. So yung wool, ayun yung karaniwang ginagamit sa paggawa ng mga jackets or cotton, yung mga cotton something. Ayan. Cotton products. Yan. Yung wool. Okay? Number 18. This animal is an emerging meat industry in the Philippines nowadays, but is controversial due to the animal's pet nature. So A. Ovis aris. B. Sus scrofa. C. Capra hircus. Or letter D. Oryctolagus cuniculus. So if you will use the different common names that we have discussed sa previous slide, the answer for this one is letter D, which is Oryctolagus cuniculus, or in its common term, rabbit. Yeah, so rabbit. So the rabbit industry here in the Philippines is another booming industry, considering most especially nung pandemic. I had a lot of friends or mga kilala lang from our chapter ano tawag dito, Department of Agriculture, Kabataang Agribees na parang organization or ano tawag dito. Basta yun. Sa Pangasinan, yung parang top 1 namin doon is ang business niya ay on rabbit meat production. So, this is a really emerging meat industry in the Philippines. Pero ayun nga, meron pa ring mga ilang Filipinos since it is not conventional. Some of our countrymen are still against that because we see or we perceive yung mga rabbit natin as pets, 'di ba? So, ayan. These are some things na parang bago na information. So, you also need to be knowledgeable sa mga bagong knowledge on agriculture. Okay, so number 19, in this process, carbon dioxide is converted to sugar. So A, sugar synthesis, B, transpiration, C, respiration, or letter D, photosynthesis. So this is a physiological process. In this process, carbon dioxide is converted to sugar. So hindi porket nakalaga yung sugar dyan na siya yung product, it is already like sugar synthesis. Diba? So, we need to consider kung ano yung product or kung ano yung mga reactants na ginamit sa equation na to. And in this case, it is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is one of the reactants or ito yung isa sa mga ingredients, kumbaga in layman's term, para mabuo yung produkto na sugar. So if you will remember, I've drafted sa ano dati, yung formula ng photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So for photosynthesis, we have carbon dioxide plus water yields carbohydrates or sugar, ayan na yun, plus oxygen. So, this is the formula for photosynthesis. So, of course, we need sunlight and energy. Ayan. So, CO2 plus H2O yields carbohydrates and oxygen. So, ang carbohydrates, isa sa mga example niyan or isa sa mga ayan, ang carbohydrates ay sugar. So, ang dati nung siguro in our elementary or secondary, ito ay C6H12O6 or in the common name is glucose. Ayan. Pero one of my professors here in the university, parang kinorek niya dati na dapat carbohydrates daw in general. Ayan. So that is photosynthesis. CO2 yields carbohydrates, the sugar. Okay? Number 20, which is not a mass-produced milk product in factories. So A, whole milk, B, fresh, C, colostrum, or letter D, skim. Ayan. So alin yung hindi daw mass-produce? The correct answer is letter C, which is colostrum. So if you will remember, colostrum is the first milk na nilalabas ng mother. Ayan. So colostrum, ayan yung tawag sa first milk. So all of whole milk, fresh milk, and skimmed milk are mass-produced in our factories. Okay, number 21. This process involves the uptake and transport of water and nutrients to different plant parts, and water is also released from the plants. A, photosynthesis, B, aerobic respiration, C, transpiration, or letter D, anaerobic respiration. So there we can see uptake and transport of water and nutrients to different plant parts and also nare-release ang water na ito. So, alin lang dyan ang merong kinalaman sa water? Or ayun yung kanyang major na agent sa process na yan, that is C, which is transpiration. So when we say transpiration, ito yung process kung saan nai-exhaust yung water resources or nag-evaporate, nagta-transpire ang ating mga plants ng water resources niya papunta sa atmosphere. So, transpiration ang tawag to. Okay? Let's go to number 22. In the Philippines, the most significant erosion process is a result of A, wind, B, water, C, people, or letter D, animals. So in the Philippines, the most significant erosion process is a result of A, wind, B, water, C, people, or letter D, animals. The correct answer is letter B, which is water. So considering that the Philippines has two seasons, which are wet and dry season, so tuwing may rainfall, ayan, maraming nag-erode na mga mountains, na mga farmlands, ganyan. Either in just a small scale or a macro scale, maraming na-erode because of water. So this is in contrast with places na, for example, desert sila, desert places. So kapag nasa desert ka, there will not be water, erosion due to water. Okay? Number 23, this includes tests for pH, exchangeable cations, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and even soluble salt. So which of the following? A, proximate analysis, B, nutritional facts drafting, C, soil analysis, or letter D, tissue analysis. So the answer for this one, since it is a combination of different like chemical properties, the answer is letter C, which is soil analysis. So in soil analysis, we are not only testing for NPK, we are also looking at the pH, kung gaano ba ka-acidic yung lupa, gaano ba ka-basic ang lupa, exchangeable cations kasi ang cation exchange capacity, meron tayong tinatawag na CEC. When we say CEC, ito yung parang property na nag-aalaw sa nutrients kung kaya bang kunin ng roots yung nutrients from the soil. Ayun. So it is related sa pag-absorb ng nutrients. So kung kaya bang mag-exchange ng cations ng soil natin. And of course, yung soluble salts. So kapag sobrang salty, sobrang marami yung salt sa isang lupa, the tendency is that mabablock yung uptake ng mga nutrients. Ayun. So that are some of the physical, some of the chemical factors na tinitake then in soil analysis. So, yung letter A, which is proximate analysis, it is conducted for if you are looking for sa mga food yan, karaniwan. Yung proximate analysis, ang karaniwang inaano dyan ay moisture, crude fat, ash, total carbohydrates, crude fiber, and also crude protein. So these are properties na meron sa mga halaman o kaya pwede rin yan sa mga food that you are preparing. Ayan, pwede ganyan. And actually, the proximate analysis is the basis for nutritional facts drafting. So kapag if you are uh, aiming to have a nutritional facts, ito yung mga karaniwan nating na nakikita sa mga balat ng ating mga chichirya o kaya sa balat ng mga different foods. Balat talaga. Sa container, sa packaging. Ayun. Kapag gusto mo ng ganon, kailangan mo munang mag-proximate analysis. And of course, tissue analysis. Ang tissue analysis naman is also in plants. So this could be for plant tissue analysis para makita natin kung meron bang like chemicals doon sa plants, okay ba yung status ng different tissues, may abnormalities ba? So tissue analysis is conducted for that. Okay? So before we move to this next item, let's have a 5-minute break. Okay, so let us continue with our discussion. So for number 24, this is another term for marketing. So A, cottage, B, triangular, C, budding, or letter D, layering, air layering. So the answer for this one is air layering. So I have discussed air layering. Ito yung sa trees, di ba? If you remember, sa trees, kunwari ito yung branch. Ayan. Yeah. So, kung may gusto ka ditong kunin na ay may gusto kang paramihin or i-propagate ulit na isang part, kunwari ito, sa part na to, you will scrape the bark. Yan. So, tatanggalin mo yung bark niya. So, may expose yung nasa loob. Tapos, lalagyan mo siya ng growing medium. Yung growing medium could be coco coir or even ah anong tawag dito? Soil, pwede rin. Pero, ayun, garden soil, coco coir. Yan. Tapos, tsaka mo siya babalutan ng plastic. So, yung plastic, ito yung mga nakikita nyo karaniwan na nakaganyan, tapos naka-rubber band dito. Yan. Tapos nakaganyan din. Ayan. Tapos babalutan nyo siya ng plastic. Tapos, ang mangyayari dyan, kunwari ito yung branch na yon, after months siguro, tutubo na dito yung mga roots. So, ayun yung best. Ayun yung result nito. Yan. Tutubo yung roots dyan, tapos after, pwede nyo siyang i-cut dito, tapos itatanim nyo na to as bagong plant. Ayan. So that is air layering or also called marketing. Okay? I think I can, wait lang. I can share the output for this one. Let's see first. Wait. Okay, hindi ko siya makita. Anyway. Okay, so let's move. Hanapin ko muna siya ako i-play mamaya. Okay, so let's move with number 25. Yeah, so number 25, which of the following is not an invertebrate pest? Invertebrate. So A, insects, B, mites, C, mollusks, or letter D, rodents. So, it's letter D, which is rodents. Example ng rodents ay yung rats. Kanina, diniscuss natin yung rats. So, ayan. Rodents yun. So, sabi natin kanina, ang rats ay vertebrate pest. Ayan. So, ito mga to, insects, mites, and mollusks, they are all invertebrate pests. Okay, moving sa number 26, which is a maturity index needed to know when the crop is now ready for harvest. So alin daw dyan ang isa sa mga maturity index na kailangan natin para makita kung ready na sa harvest ng isang prutas? Siguro, yan, ng isang crop. The correct answer is letter D, which is total soluble solids. So, ang total soluble solids ay isang example ng chemical property or chemical maturity index that are being used in fruits. Ayan, yung mga juicy na mga fruits natin. So, ayan yung karaniwang ginagamit. So, ang total soluble solids is somehow a reflection ng sugar na na-produce na ng isang crop, yan, or ng isang fruit. Ganyan. So, ang height of the tree, there could be tall trees pero hindi pa ready for harvest yung kanilang mga plants or yung kanilang mga bunga. Phytochemicals are not also a maturity index. Instead, it is a property. It is a chemical property that is can be considered as a benefit na. So, ang mga phytochemicals is karaniwang nasa mga dahon, ganyan. Although we can also get phytochemicals from other crops. Ayan. Ang mga karaniwang merong laman yan ay mga dahon, ganyan. And of course, root structure cannot be seen. So, hindi mo pwedeng bungkalin muna yung puno or yung plant bago mo makita na, pwede na to, pwede na to. Yan. Kasi pag sinabi nating maturity index, it is a sign, parang ang question, ang tinatanong nila is, alin sa mga yan ang pwedeng sign na mature na ang isang halaman at ready na siya for harvest? O mature na ang isang prutas at ready na siya for harvest? Or mature na ang isang gulay at pwede na siyang i-harvest? Ayan. So, total soluble solids is a chemical maturity index na ginagamit ng mga farmers. Next, number 27, a stage of crops wherein it has already developed the ability to ripen normally after harvest. So, ripen normally. So, A, commercial maturity. B, physiological maturity. C, phytochemical maturity. Or letter D, biochemical maturity. So, the answer for this one is letter B, which is physiological maturity. So, when we say physiological, it has something to do with the form, with the structure, with the form or the chemical processes that are with a specific plant. Diba? So kapag sa physiological maturity, for example, sa isang mango, ayan. So yung mango, it will ripen or yung mga banana, it will ripen normally after harvest. Diba? Kahit wala na siya dun sa puno niya mismo. Ayan. So that is called physiological maturity. Ang commercial maturity naman is ito yung pag-harvest mo according sa gusto ng tao. For example, yung papaya, meron tayong mga papaya na hina-harvest kahit hindi pa siya sobrang ripe. Kasi may mga taong bumibili ng papaya na kulay green pa. Diba? Tapos isinasahog sa tinola, ganun. Yun. So that's an example. Phytochemical maturity and biochemical maturity are not that used or hindi siya ginagamit sa post-harvest or sa agriculture in general. So number 28, a type of germination where the reserved tissue is raised above the ground. So raised above the ground, A, hypogeal, B, pyrogeal, C, epigeal, or letter D, cryptocular. So again, a review from our session 1. Meron tayong dalawang types of germination, which is, if you can remember, hypogeal and epigeal. So kapag sinabi natin hypogeal germination, ang example nito ay corn. na ang seed o ang kanyang cotyledon ay nasa baba. Kung contrast natin sa epigyal, na kapag sa epigyal naman, ang cotyledon ay umaabot sa dito. Ang example nito ay munggo. Kapag magta-try kayong mag-grow ng munggo, aangat yung seed, yung parang cotyledon niya dito. Ayun yung reserved tissue na tinatawag. Whereas kapag hypogeal, nasa baba lang siya. Hypo, baba, epi, taas. So the answer is epigeal. Kasi nasa taas ang reserved tissue. Okay? Number 29. Which is the first step in seed germination? So A, is it activation of enzymes? B, water imbibition? C, hydrolysis? And letter D, translocation of assimilates. So ang unang step sa germination ay letter B, which is water imbibition. So kaya natin dinidiligan muna or binabasa muna yung ating mga seeds. Di ba, kapag naman nagtatanim tayo, lalagyan natin doon yung seed, tas hindi naman iiwanan nyo na lang siya doon basta-basta, di ba? So dinidiligan natin kasi kailangan niya maka-imbibe o kailangan niya makakuha ng water para magkaroon ng activation ng enzymes, magkaroon ng hydrolysis, tas ma-translocate to at tumubo siya. So that is the first step in seed germination. Okay? Let's go with number 30. So this is the partial or total removal of the seed coat. So A, scarification, B, storage, C, dormancy, or letter D, vernalization. Partial or total removal of the seed coat, removal, scar, the answer is scarification. Ayun na lang yung gamitin nating keyword doon, scar. Ayan. So parang susugatan niya yung seed coat. Ginagawa ang scarification para ma-activate ang germination. Kasi, di ba sabi natin dito kanina sa number 29, ang first step in seed germination is water imbibition, right? So, merong mga ilang seed na merong sobrang kapal or sobrang tigas na seed coat. Ayan. Dahil dun sa sobrang kapal na seed coat, ayan, hindi nag-germinate yung seed. So, kailangan nating tanggalin yung seed coat para ma-germinate yung seed. Ang mga ini-scarify na mga seed ay rambutan, durian, yung mga yan. Yan. So, mostly mga fruit trees, mga fruit na seeds. Ayun yung mga ini-scarify natin. Okay? Next, raw materials in crop breeding. So what is the term for the raw materials in crop breeding? A, variety, B, genotype, C, crops, or letter D, germplasm. So the answer for this one is letter D, which is germplasm. So ang germplasm, kaya siya tinawag na raw materials kasi when we say germplasm, ito yung lahat ng available na genetic varieties or mga organisms na mayroong malawak na genetic qualities. So ayun yung tawag doon. From that germplasm, doon kukuha ng parents for the next generation. So if you will remember dati, kunwari may parent 1, ayan, may parent 2, ayan. So itong dalawang parents na to, kailangan ay maganda ang kanilang qualities, 'di ba, in crop breeding para makagawa ng superior na offspring. Ayan. So, kailangan yan. So, itong parent 1 at si parent 2, nanggaling yan sa maraming choices. Kumbaga, may marami pa diyang mga organism 1. Kunwari A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Tapos, kunwari, ito si organism D, tapos ito naman si organism J. Ayan. So, ang tawag dito, germplasm. So, ito yung mga raw materials in plant breeding. From this specific population, you will choose which is the best parent. So, kaya siguro napili si D tsaka si J kasi superior yung quality niya. So, dahil superior ang quality nito, ang mabubuo niyang offspring ay superior din. So, that is uh, an overview sa proseso ng plant breeding. Okay, next. Which is not a local animal breed? Not a local animal breed. So A, Boang. B, Berkala. C, Filamen. Or letter D, Leghorn. Okay, so makikita na natin sa pangalan pa lang. So mostly in animal science, karaniwan ng mga ginagamit ng mga breeders natin ay mga mixture ng mga pangalan. So ang Leghorn is, of course, a breed na hindi local. Yan, may Philippines. Berkala from Halahala Rizal. Okay? So number 33, this is equal to the feed intake of animals over its average daily gain. Feed intake of animals over its average daily gain. A, dressing percentage. B, feed conversion ratio. C, daily feed ration. Or letter D, average body weight. So dito, kung makikita natin, merong feed intake tapos over average daily gain. So it means from feeds to gain. So from that, makikita natin na parang hinahanap dito yung conversion. Ayan. So the answer for this one is letter B, which is feed conversion ratio. This is actually a formula of FCR and feed intake. And FCR, ito FCR, feed intake over ADG or average daily gain. Okay, so before we continue, let's have a 5-minute break and I hopefully mahanap ko yung video ko on marketing.
Hi, my name is Arvin, and this is a guide on marketing. Marketing is also known as air layering. It is a type of a vegetative plant propagation that involves rooting of a part of a stem while it is still attached to the parent plant. Are you ready for this marketing journey? Prepare the following materials. You will need a transparent plastic bag. You will also need ropes. Of course, prepare your blade or your knife. And of course, your medium. You can use coco coir, soil, or a combination of both. Here is an important tip. If you are using coco coir, it will be better if you will soak it overnight. So to start, select the branch where you want to make a markup. Now, move the knife in a circular motion around the stem and remove the strip of the bark. Take note of this. When scraping off the bark of your chosen plant, it is very important that you scrape off the slimy layer for it can hinder the roots from growing. Now it's time to put your medium around the debarked stem by pressing it using your palm and fingers. Tightly wrap around the soil with your plastic sheet. It is advisable to first tie the lower portion of the plastic to avoid the soil or your medium from escaping. Then tie the upper portion of the plastic. Normally, rooting will take place from 8 to 10 weeks or sometimes more depending on the species. I hope that this guide helped you in your marketing journey.
Okay, so that is my uh the video that I created for marketing. Okay. So moving forward, let's have number 34, which is feed conversion ratio is a blank trait. A, is it a positive trait? B, is it a negative trait? C, is it none of the above? Or letter D, all of the above? So feed conversion ratio was defined here. So feed intake daw ng animals over their average daily gain. So kapag ba mas mataas ang feed conversion ratio, mas maganda ba? So the answer is letter B, which is negative. So ibig sabihin, kapag higher ang feed conversion ratio, hindi siya okay. Ibig sabihin, hindi efficient ang paggamit ng ng animals natin sa feed. So hindi nako-convert ng maayos, 'di ba? Unlike kapag ah ayun, hindi siya nako-convert ng maayos. So dapat ang feed conversion ratio natin ay maliit lang. Okay? So number 35, which method of planting is done in most orchards to save space? A, contour. B, diagonal. C, quincunx. Or letter D, circular method. So the answer for this one is letter C, which is quincunx method. So sa quincunx, ito yung diniscuss din natin kahapon na may 1, 2, 3, 4, tapos lalagyan ng plant or tree sa gitna. So, ganyan ang kanyang itsura, ganyan ang kanyang layout. So this is being done to save space. Okay? Number 36. So which is not an economically important trait? A, production traits. B, behavioral traits. C, reproduction traits. Or letter D, adaptation traits. So the answer for this one is letter B, which is behavioral traits. So ang behavioral traits ng mga hayop ay hindi siya economically important. So ang mas important ay production, reproduction, and even adaptation traits. So later we will look at different types of these traits. Ayan, ito na. Number 37. This is an example of production trait. A, fertility. B, lean percent. C, semen quality. Or letter D, heat tolerance. So dito, pag sinabing production trait, ito yung may kinalaman sa mga gusto nating qualities sa isang hayop. Ang answer dito is letter B, which is lean percent. So kung gaano karami yung karne sa isang halaman ng halaman. Sa isang hayop. Ayan. So, yung fertility, semen quality are reproductive traits, and yung heat tolerance is an adaptation traits. So further, let's move to number 38, which is not an example of reproductive traits. So A, fertility. B, number of offspring. C, semen quality. Or letter D, heat tolerance. So, ako, considering yung diniscuss natin sa previous item, the answer for this one is letter D, which is heat tolerance, because heat tolerance is an example of adaptation traits. So itong tatlo, these are all reproductive traits. Okay, next. Ito, this is an example of adaptive traits in animals. So alin dito ang adaptive traits? Tingin nyo. So A, egg quality, egg weight. B, milk yield. C, genetic resistance or to diseases. Or letter D, hatchability. So the answer for this one is letter C, which is resistance to disease. Ayan, genetic resistance to disease. When animals have higher or meron silang genetic resistance sa isang disease, mas nakaka-adapt sila sa kung saang environment man sila mapunta. Unlike sa isang sakitin na animal, kapag sakitin yung animal natin, may hirapan sila mag-adjust sa isang environment. So that is an example of adaptive traits. Okay? So number 40. Number 40, when is the best time to measure traits in animal farm? So when is the best time? A, when the traits are fully expressed. B, when animals are in their puberty days. C, anytime. Or letter D, when all of the animals are ready. So here, the correct answer is letter A, which is when all of the traits or when they are fully expressed. So when we say yung traits, kailangan alam natin kung kailan sila fully expressed. For example, uh, you are breeding for uh, yung hatchability, ganyan. So of course, you will look at the time kung kailan dapat nag-hatch ang isang itlog. Ganon. Ng isang manok, ganun. So, you you are looking at the different traits specifically, hindi siya generally. Kaya, yung sa letter D, it is not an answer, but yung letter B. Kasi, they are looking at a general aspect. Eh dapat, kapag when we are selecting, when we are measuring traits sa isang hayop, it must be specific to that specific traits or to that specific animal as well. Okay? Number 41, why are traits in animals being measured? So A, this is the basis of determining which of the animals will be sold for a marketable, expensive, and best price. B, this is the basis for production. C, this is the basis for determining animals that will undergo selection. Or letter D, this is the basis of which one will be killed. So for this item, you need to account for the best answer. Ayan. So, titingnan natin kung alin ba ang pinaka-okay na answer dito. First, yung A, this is the basis for determining which of the animals will be sold for a marketable, expensive, and best price. So dito, it answers the question na alin ang pinaka-okay na ibenta. But if you are an animal breeder, if you are an animal farmer, of course, you are not only looking at the present time. So actually, this question is an integration of concept sa marketing strategy, sa animal science, ganyan. So, kung paano mo i-strategize na maging okay yung farm mo? So, dito, kapag ito lang yung basis natin, or ito lang yung reason natin, kung ba't tayo nagme-measure ng traits sa isang hayop, then that is just a temporary. Kasi, pagka-measure mo, for example, ah, ilan yung ah, size ng girth. Meron tayong tinatawag na girth size. Yung girth size, kunwari, merong baboy. Kunwari, ito yung body ng baboy. Yung isang ikot nito, ayun yung girth. Ayan. So, kung sino yung may mas malaking ganon, ito ba yung ibebenta mo? So, that would be temporary. Temporary lang yun. Kasi, kapag binenta mo yung merong, merong malaking ganito, malaking girth, ang mangyayari ay papatayin din siya afterwards, di ba? So, this is temporary. And somehow, the same is true with letter B, which is this is the basis for production, which is, uh, yes, true naman na basis ng production yun, pero there is a better answer. Okay, so letter D, this is the basis of which one will be killed. So, totoo naman, pero uh, not all na hindi papasa doon, ay not all na less doon sa expected natin ay papatayin, di ba? So, syempre, papalakihin pa yung iba, ganyan. And yung letter C, this is actually the answer. This is the basis of determining animals that will undergo selection. So, ibig sabihin, kung kunwari, yung sa example natin kanina, kapag merong isang baboy na sobrang okay yung kanyang girth size, ibig sabihin, pwede mo siyang gawing parent ng next generation. Di ba kanina yung sinabi ko na may organism A, B, C, D, E hanggang J. Tapos pipili ka doon ng next na parent para yung trait na yon is madala niya sa next generation. So that is the best reason why the traits are in animals are being measured. Para malaman natin kung sino yung mga pwedeng parents ng next generation. Ayan. Or yan, tama. Sa next generation. Okay? Next, what classification of organism is a causative agent for Fusarium wilt, hydroponic root rot, and Cercospora leaf spot? So A, viruses, B, fungi, C, parasites, or letter D, bacteria. So I've also mentioned this in our past session. Ayan, so ang answer dito is letter B, which is fungi. So Fusarium wilt is caused by the fungi, Fusarium. Hydroponic root rot are maraming maraming mga fungi that causes root rot. Ilan sa mga yon ay Pythium or pwede rin yung Pyricularia. Ayan, for root rot. Tapos yung sa Cercospora leaf spot naman, Cercospora is a genus of a fungi. So be familiar with that kasi ayan yung mga karaniwan ding lumalabas na mga sakit sa let Okay? Number 43. Which element is important in market analysis? So which element? A, reduction in wages. B, personnel. C, activities. Or letter D, source of venture. Again, let's have a review what happens in market analysis. When we are doing market analysis, we are looking at the possible market. So, yung possible na consumers, ano yung magiging estado ng isang business when it comes to when it is already established in a specific area. Di ba? So, in this aspect, ang wages ay wala pang masyadong ganap kasi wages is more on the managerial side. It's more on the operational side. Nasa ano to ng manager. Whereas, also, Yung personnel, same din. Yung source of venture is more on the fiscal side or sa financial side. Yung sa source of venture. And of course, yung activities natin, ayun yung answer dito. Kasi yung activities lang yung answer dyan, hindi kasama yung personnel. Yung sa activities natin, ah syempre titignan mo, kunwari, market analysis. Sa lugar na to, maraming gustong kumain ng specific product. Ganon. So, titignan mo kung kailangan pa ba ng advertisement or okay na yung hilig nila sa isang pagkain na yon. For example, ano ba yung in Tagaytay, ganyan. Or, ayan, tama, in Tagaytay, maraming kumakain doon ng bulalo, ng lomi, ng kape, ganyan. Kasi malamig doon, parang ganun, di ba? So, kapag kapag ba ikaw ay nagtayo ng business na yun doon, will you need like extensive advertisement? Syempre hindi na masyado kasi pinupuntahan na yung mga ganong klaseng ah, business doon sa lugar na yon. Unlike kapag kunwari magtatayo ka ng mga ganong business, kape na tama, kape, lomi or bulalo sa isang mainit na lugar, of course, kailangan mo ng other activities. For example, installation ng aircon, syempre, di ba? Ayan, kasi hindi naman pupuntahan talaga ng mga tao in a hot environment. Yung mga ganun na commodities. Ayan, so that's one of the things na pwede nyo i-consider. Okay? Number 44, how can Filipino farmers seize the opportunity to serve a market of 650 million in the ASEAN community for their agricultural products? So this is somehow in the area of globalization. Ayan. So, global linkages. Ayan. So, A, encouraging foreigners to supply improved seeds, breeding stock, and farm chemicals. B, observing the local standards of primary products, both fresh and processed. C, subsidizing rural credit system for farmers. Or letter D, effectively linking primary production into world-class competitive value food supply chains. So dito, the answer is letter D, which is effectively linking primary production into world-class competitive food supply chains. So kasi kapag ginawa natin yon, kapag we already established connections, ayan, so kumbaga ito, i-connect natin yung farmers natin into a bigger market. Ayan, so that is the best way. Contrary to letter C, which is subsidizing rural credit system for farmers, when we are just looking at their needs financially, there are really possibilities na hindi magamit efficiently yung mga funds na yon. So, subsidization is not that effective sa ganitong klaseng situation. Next is observing the local standards of primary products, both fresh and processed. So here, we're still looking at the local standards, which is, of course, we must have a bigger or higher standards when we are already serving a global market, diba, in an ASEAN community. And of course, yung encouraging foreigners to supply improved seeds or breeding stock or farm chemicals. Of course, there are a lot of seed or breeds na hindi effective or na hindi compatible sa ating climate here in the Philippines. Ayan. So, kapag maglalagay tayo or mag-encourage tayo ng foreigners to supply seeds and breeding stocks here in the Philippines, there's a possibility that those seeds, those breeding materials will not survive here in the Philippines kasi they are bred sa ibang bansa, di ba? So they have other uh, environmental conditions there. So if it will be here in the Philippines, so posible na hindi nila kayanin yung init dito, o kaya yung dalawang seasons lang, even yung soil parameters, yung mga soil characteristics, yung mga yan, hindi nila, there's a possibility na hindi nila kayanin yun. Okay? Number 45, the Malthusian crisis sees the planet Earth unable to produce enough blank for an expanding population. So again, this is somehow a review of uh, sa agricultural economics din siguro. So A, service, B, grain and meat, C, industries, or letter D, technology systems. So ang answer dito is letter B, which is grain and meat. Ayan. So that is why as we face the modern world, we are conceptualizing, we are studying on uh, sustainability rin ng mga systems, ng mga farming systems natin. Kasi uh, as we move into a modernized world, mas nawawala yung mga space siguro for farm production, nawawala yung space for farm establishment, diba? Pag-raise ng livestock, even sa plants. That is why nagkakaroon na rin ng mga different farming systems na nagsisave ng space. Farming systems na pwedeng gawin sa loob ng bahay. Farming systems na kahit sa sementadong lupa, pwede. Ganyan. So, that is our coping mechanism as humans. Okay? Micronutrients which plants need in lesser quantity include the following except one. So identify which one. A, zinc, B, boron, C, copper, or letter D, sulfur. So lahat ng mga ito ay micronutrients except sa isa na isang macronutrient. The answer is letter D, which is sulfur. So zinc, boron, and copper are all micronutrients. And sulfur is a macronutrient. Number 47, what kind of bacteria thrives when there is presence of oxygen? So presence of oxygen, A, multiple, B, aerobic, C, hydro, or letter D, anaerobic. So the answer for this one is letter C, Joe. It's letter B, which is aerobic. So anaerobic, they can thrive without oxygen. In number 48, what is an example of a biological control management that prevents corn infestation of insects? Okay, biological control. A, use of chemical control substances prior to planting or prior to planting. B, planting genetically modified corn or BT varieties. C, spraying strong insecticides from vegetative to reproductive stage. Or letter D, release of 100 trichocards or the trichogramma egg parasites. So again, if you're looking for biological control, it must involve other living thing. And in this case, it is the trichocards or the trichogramma egg parasites. So yung letter A is an example of a chemical control. It is an example of chemical control, as what you can see. Letter B is an example of a host pest resistance control. So this can be counted as biotechnological approach. Yan, paggamit ng mga resistant varieties. And yung letter C, it is also a chemical control. So when we say chemical control, ito yung paggamit ng mga insecticides. So since gumamit ng insecticides sa letter C at saka letter A. Yeah, so that's chemical control. B is host pest resistance control. And the letter D, since merong living thing, is a biological control. Okay? So before we continue, we have already finished for almost 2 hours. So let us have a quick break. And after that, I will play some of additional information on anong tawag dito? Ito yung mga ginagamit as plant nutrients. Ayan, organic nutrients for plants. Okay, so let's have a 5-minute break and after that, I will play those videos. For this video, we will talk about the FFJ or fermented fruit juice. It is